Alrighty, so I wanted to give you some feedback on what I noticed here in your film, but I wanted to do this a better way than me typing out a fucking paragraph and shit. So, yeah, might as well just get into it here. Let's see if I can just, let me see if all this is just uploaded. Because I just, what I did is just uploaded this all to uh, YouTube channel up here. Okay, alrighty, so a lot of good things that I saw here. And again, I just want to speak about the thing that I was talking about before about the instincts and everything like that. I think it's very very cool to see someone have just instincts to do certain things. And maybe I don't know, maybe some of the things you were doing in here you were taught in training, or maybe you weren't. But um, I don't think a lot of people are teaching some of the things that you were doing in here, like a lot in the several clips you showed me. So just want to give you props for that. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, see you training here. It looks like a fucking looks like some fucking Tekken shit or something. Sneaky, sneaky head kick there. Okay. Um. So see you on the offense here. So just and I'm just going through this like this is not planned or anything. So I'm just looking to see what I see. So it might be annoying if I keep pausing stuff, but I'm just trying to see what you're throwing and stuff. I just like the play-by-play type of thing. But jab, two over the top. Good shot selection there, and then following it up, the jab around the guard. And so this is the first thing I wanted to point out here. Uh, um, this right here. So after after this jab or hook, whatever this was, you switched into southpaw here, and you do what I tend to talk about a lot, which is switching with control. So great job here getting control of your opponent's lead hand as you're switching, um, occupying this lane with defensive traffic, which is your lead hand here, occupying this lane, his lead hand, and kind of just leaving him uh, to only really use his rear hand here. In order to really use his lead hand here, you would have to get past all of this, which is it's going to take some effort, or he's going to have to get around here. So usually people are going to opt for using, you know, they're going to punch in the lane that's not being occupied, which is this lane right here. And again, you know, we talked about Adesanya versus Evolve and everything. Not switching with control is not something you want to do. Because when you're stance switching, you're momentarily out of position. There's no way around it. When you're switching stances, either southpaw, orthodox, whatever, you have to get your feet up off the ground a bit to be able to switch. You're gonna momentarily get square, and for even if it's for a millisecond, you're momentarily out of position, and you're vulnerable there. Usually, when people get caught while they're stance switching, usually people aren't countering back. You see a lot of either people getting punished for it bad, or usually they get kind of stuck in between their switch and they have to get on the defensive. So you're not really in a position to really sit down on any offense because you don't have a base. The most you can do in a situation like that when you're getting jammed up in between a switch is be defensive. So that's why you want to switch with control. I want to show you this video here. Um, This guy is going to switch stances. Okay, watch him switch into southpaw, and you already see. Look at his base. Look at his. What I want you to pay attention here is look at his base and look at his opponent's base. From right here, he is not. That this is not how you strike. You don't want to be square like this. Like look at his base. Look at his base. Who has the stronger base here, and who's able to plant their feet and really throw? So when you're switching, you momentarily have to get yourself out of position in order to get into the different stance. That's why you want to shift into a different stance. You can do that with offense, right? Control is just not your lead hand like you have in the video you see here. Control can be a feint, giving a hard feint, and then using your, because when you give a feint, your opponent is going to give you, most likely going to give you a defensive reaction. So that millisecond that you got, which is essentially buying time a bit, controlling the clock, and we talked about that before, but it gets deep. But that small millisecond that you got from them being defensive, you can use that to be able to switch into a different stance. So that defensive reaction is kind of your insurance in order for you to switch stances um, safely without getting hit. And what I mean by insurance, like I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, when you get hurt or something, have a car accident, you should have insurance because just in case something happens, you want an insurance company to be able to pay for any damages that has happened to a vehicle or your property or your own body, you know? So that's what insurance is having. So think of insurance is right here. You got insurance here because guess what? You were in a compromising position because you have to be in a compromising position in order to switch. But you switched with control. You got control of his lead hand. So here, he's going to switch into southpaw, I believe, and bam, bam, and he gets hurt there. I'll play it like 3 more times here, but not only that, but he didn't notice. Look at Red Gear rhythm stepping before he throws. Boom, boom, pop, pop. Yeah, you don't want to, and really the bigger thing here is look at the distance between them, right? Notice that. You do not want to be switching in the 50-50. So you've seen this a million times. Oops. You've clearly seen this a million times, but I'm gonna play it just because it's important. You do not want to be switching in the 50-50. You do not want to be switching. Look at the distance between him and Imavov as he's getting this foot planted. As he's getting this foot planted, Imavov is going to strike. And it wasn't that one, but there goes the other one. So as now look remember what I said, film doesn't lie. I'm showing you the film here. You have to momentarily get yourself out of position in order to switch. Imavov is already striking before Izzy even has a base. I wish I could just see his foot here, but you can see like his ankle. Before Izzy even has a base, he's already striking. So Izzy is not even in a position to be offensive here at all. He has to opt for being defensive. Now, he does switch with a bit control here, but this is the other thing, that I wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm talking about it now. You don't want to be switching in 50-50. So what you did here is not necessarily, where is it? Not necessarily wrong here. because you did the right thing. You switched with control, but you don't want to be switching this close in front of your opponent. But you can. And if you are going to do it, you need to do it with control. But you also need to know that your opponent can break through your controls. If, that's the key word here, if your controls aren't physical. And what I mean by physical is, think of pushing your hand against a wall, right? So just, if there's any wall or anything right now, anything you can put your hand against and extend your arm, just leave it there a little bit. Don't put any pressure. Notice the difference between now, if you're following along with me, if you're stretching your arm out and you got your hand placed on something. Now I want you to put pressure. Put pressure. Lean against whatever you're pushing, something, or whatever you're putting your hand against. Put pressure. That's physical control. Not just placing your hand, but think about straining your arm and push. That's physical control. You don't want to be lazy with your controls. I don't idol worship. I don't care if he's my favorite fighter. I don't give two shits. Izzy was okay, so, and this is perfect here. This is absolutely perfect. So watch how Izzy was physical with his controls right here. Let me slow it down so I don't have to keep like, let me try to watch how Izzy is physical. And you can tell how physical he is by the way he is able to move Imavov's body, at least his upper posture a bit. Watch how he moves Imavov a bit when he has his control over his lead hand. You see that? That's physical. That's physical control right there. That's not physical at all. At least not physical enough. So it's like, it's hard to explain because you shouldn't be switching this close in front of your opponent either way. You don't switch in the 50-50. You don't switch in equal positioning. But if you are going to switch, you need to do it with control, and it needs to be physical. Look at Izzy's base here. Physical, 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 physical. But then also here, notice how Izzy has his base here. Izzy has his base. He's set and ready to go. Well, right, right about here. He's set and ready to go. Right. So it's a bit of a gamble if you're kind of catching on what I'm saying right now. If your opponent, quote unquote, lets you, of course your opponent's not letting you do anything. If they don't notice it, they don't notice it. But if your opponent lets you get your base, okay, switching into 50-50 is fine as long as you have control right here and it's physical. But this is the danger of switching into 50-50 because Izzy had his controls here. You can see his hands. Izzy had his controls here. They weren't really physical, but he didn't really have a base. Again, let's go back. Okay, physical. Now watch. His foot is not even planted before he gets to go. So that's the gamble of stance switching in equal positioning here. That's the gamble of it. Is that if your opponent decides to go while you're switching, you better hope your controls are enough, right? And this is why also, again, there's different control is not just this, getting your hands out there. Controls can be a feint and then switching stances. Again, using that defensive reaction that you got out of your opponent, use that time that you bought to switch in a different stance. Or or you can use offense, right? So let's go to somebody. Let me let me see if I can find, because Dan Ige is one of the guys who consistently stance switches with offense. I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Let me go deeper into the round here. See if I can find it. Find a moment where he did it in here. But even if I don't explain it, you're smart. You know, or not explain it. Even if I don't, if I'm not able to show you here, you know what I mean by shifting with offense. So go to the second round here to see if I can find it. So even this. So there we go. There we go. Here's one thing. Let me see. Faint, faint. So there we go, right here. This isn't the best example right here. Now this isn't shifting with offense, but remember what I said about using feints. Here, Sean Woodson is respecting Danny Gay here. Okay, feint, feint, and you see he respected it, right? Because he lifted his leg up to check, right? He lifts his leg up to check. So the feint is working. Again, film doesn't lie. So he's using this time that he bought with this feint to switch stances here. There's now you want to be. I'm not saying he's wrong for feinting, using this certain feint to do this, and I'm just saying I would be a bit cleaner with the way I do it. But still, good example. I wouldn't be mad at him. You're still feinting, whatever. This is just me being very very nitpicky. But switching, he's using the feint in order to switch with control. Control being, I'm controlling your positioning right now. How am I controlling your positioning? I'm getting a defensive reaction out of you. That's controlling your opponent's positioning. With my feints, I'm controlling I'm controlling your positioning. I'm going to feint, feint, and use that to switch carefully. He even got a little bit of control as he was switching there. So that's another method of control that you can use while switching. And I'm sorry to we haven't even gotten to the rest of the fucking film, but this is to the other clips that you have. But this is why I love film study so much, dude, because it gets very deep. It's not just a fucking YouTube short or Instagram short. Like film study is like it's long, but it's detailed and it's fun. But let me look to see here if I can find him shifting with offense. I just And so that's a very small example, I believe. A little bit. A little bit. Well, a little bit. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit. So there you go. That's a bit. Um, Good job on Ige here. So here we go again. It's funny how everything kind of comes together here a bit. So Ige almost gets caught switching without control here. He's gonna cross his fucking feet there. Anyways, he's gonna switch back into orthodox here, right? Hmm. Let's 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 go back a bit here and watch. Let's watch Ige's hands here as he's switching. Okay, he does have control while he's switching too, but the controls were a tad bit late, in my opinion. It wasn't like a deliberate thing. Like, okay, I drilled this shit. I know when I switch stances, I need to have control. it was kind of a reactionary thing. Um, I believe that he got caught there too. I feel like I just missed it. Okay, it was all the way over here. The one we were just looking at was a decent example too. But and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I'm such a nerd for this shit. But it's like, listen, when you do rounds and rounds of footwork drills and you got just time and time of film study, like, man, like knowing that your opponent crosses their fucking feet, like just imagine you know that once you get him to move laterally, your opponent is gonna do this. Watch Sean Woodson's feet. Like you think he can really be offensive right here when you like try to do bag work with your feet crossed like that and tell me how it goes. But it's like man, you can it's so much shit you can take advantage of. But regardless, look at Ige's hands here. As he's switching, he gets them out and he's able to that control allows you to see. It allows you to see, think, and decide and counter. But I'm not gonna harp on this for too much. Um, I went on a bit of a tangent there, and we're only 2 seconds into the film study, but this is how deep the shit gets. So, um, good job on you for switching with control there. But as I mentioned before in the beginning, if you have control of one lane, another lane is open. That's if you don't have two-hand controls, which you only have one-hand control occupying the lead hand punch lane with your defensive traffic, your lead hand. So, if your opponent is being controlled on one lane, they're usually going to opt to use the other lane. And that's exactly what happens here. Boop. And that's okay. Um, Hindsight is 2020, and we can look at things and criticize or compliment things when we look back. But this is why we watch film because we want to know what to do, and when we find ourselves in these situations. So, man, one here, you already know the deal with this, so I don't even have to explain too much. This is how Connor has caught in tons of people. Occupy one punch lane, you force specific offense. Here, you didn't even know what you were doing, but you were doing something well. Not only did you switch with control, but now you're forcing specific offense from your opponent. You forced him to throw his cross here. Now, if you kind of knew what was going on, then you would be you would know to slip here or block or parry, get under the right hand, counter, you know. But if one lane is being occupied, the other one is open. So you have to be aware once you start using controls and stuff like that, because you're not just in the you're not in the safe zone here. You're in the safe zone here. Here you're in the safe zone a bit. That's if your opponent knows what the fuck he's doing, because you can still get around these controls. He can still he can still get to you here, but the control kind of makes it a bit harder to do that. But you're not in the safe here. The cross is still available, and you get hit there. So not gonna harp too much on that, but you know the deal with that. You can force specific offense with controls, and you did that exactly here. You just weren't aware that you can counter it. So this is another part that I wanted to uh, talk about here. So after he throws this cross to the body, um, man, hard liver shot here. And man, I was thinking, like, imagine that three to the body, and then you come over the top. So let me go back. So let me go back here. Cross and just imagine after this cross, boom, three to the body, and as he's disengaging with his fucking hands down. Look at this. Look at this. Just imagine a loop here. Your overhand looping on his fucking temple, looping down on him. Like that would have been nasty. And yeah, he wouldn't even, man, boom, and then an overhand up top. I think you're well aware of what I'm trying to get at here. So I know you landed this beautiful head kick here. I know you did, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But here, like here, if I'm in your corner before the head kick comes, I'm screaming for you to get off to the side here, right? Get off to your right. Please don't shell up like this. But I wouldn't see this as an inactive high guard. I see you try to get control of his lead hand, right? More controls here. You throw your cross, get him to disengage a bit. But yeah. And even after this cross, after this cross, there should have been a control, and yeah, and good job on him, your opponent here. He got his hand on your arm, so he was able to catch your shit a little bit. Yeah, no control after striking here. This is a no. After this right hand, like both of your hands should be here. Your right hand shouldn't even come down. Like after you throw it, it should still be right here with your other hand coming up. Yeah, with control. But again, like just beautiful shit. I mean, the eyes that you have. Were you even looking at him, buddy? That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. My only criticism here is I would have wanted you to, because there would have been no need to take any of this offense, everything that's happening right now. But I guess if you didn't move, you wouldn't have landed that. But yeah, good shit, good shit, good shit. So now let's go to the next piece of film. Okay, beautiful shot selection, my guy. But it's funny. Um, what we just talked about happened here, but I'll get to that in a second. Um, I like to call this just misdirection, right? And good offensive shot selection from you. And I just like to call this misdirection because you threw a misdirection 1-2, which is essentially just a jab to the body and then a right hand up top. So misdirection, you're kind of throwing in one place and going to the other. Here, man, this is just very good shot selection here. Cross to the body, and your posture is still like kind of low, and then you just kind of, it's like you hold on, you threw this hook. You threw this hook, and your posture is still low, and then you just spring out, head kick, and it's like the level change you did here. The level change, you springing out. Look at your so so your opponent reaches to catches your cross, right? The level change here still screams at him that you're going to be throwing something to the body. Because look at your opponent's hands. Look where they are. Look where they are. That's not how you block a head kick. You're going to see him block a head kick in a quick second. It looks like he thinks you're going to the body, but you spring up and bam, and it still got through. Like, like I'm taking that. Like, actually, this is something I've already kind of been doing, but like seeing it in action makes me want to like drill that even more. So, man, what a way to hide your shots. What a way to hide a fucking head kick. Yo, could you imagine getting a knockout like this in the UFC or whatever? Like, this is fucking beautiful. Look at this. Cross to the body. You're still low, and then you just spring back up with the head kick. You don't even. There's no read on that. There's no read. It's no. Look at your posture. Your posture is still low. Like this is you upright. There is no tell here. Like you get upright a little bit, enough to lift your fucking leg up. There's no fucking tell. He couldn't tell. He thinks you're blocking low, and you just beautiful, beautiful shot selection here. So now this is the criticism here, and this is where you could clean some things up or just know to clean things up. So here after after this head kick, you go into top heavy defense, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would prefer you to get controls out after that, but it's fine, right? It's still defense, right? But look what happens here. Did we not just talk about that? Did we not just talk about that? What is happening here? Head kick, head kick, and you try to switch into orthodox as you're still trying to get your base. He jams you up a little bit. And right, you can't really be offensive here, right? So you don't want to be switching in the 50-50 like this. Like you switched right in front of him. Now, granted, the space that you guys are in, I get it. Trust me, I get it. It's not much fucking room to maneuver, but still, you don't want to carry these bad habits to when you get in the cage or the ring or whatever like that. So just, you know, remember that part. But yeah, he caught you on the switch here a bit and jammed you up. You didn't have any other choice really. Uh, you didn't really have a choice but to be defensive. But still, good job on you trying to get control of his lead hand. You do, and jab defense is so fucking important. Catching your opponent's jab. This is domination right here. Catching your opponent's fucking jab, that allowed you to get, and that was that misdirection one too. Jab to the body up top. But defense before offense here. Defense before offense. Somebody might look at this clip and be like, oh, nice jab to the body up top. Yeah, that's nice, but what I noticed first is that you got control of his lead hand. You caught his jab. He can't be offensive after this. That's debilitating to get your punches caught like that. Off the jab defense, off the jab defense, you're gonna go to the body and you're gonna go up top. So that's beautiful, beautiful shot selection. And that's what I meant about the mixed direction 1-2. Beautiful job with the controls here. And he hit you a bit earlier, but good job. Good job on the controls. Alrighty. Okay, so already, sorry, I'm just drinking something. Already, what I'm seeing here, man, What a way to faint the fuck out of your opponent. You sit down, sit down on his ass. You level change with a level change feint. Beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, you've already been level changing already in this fight, so I mean, what a way to just layer your offense, layer your feints. You know, you're layering a lot of things right now. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like I'm making sense to you, and I'm not just sounding like I'm blabbering. But you're am I still recording? Yeah, yeah, I am. You're layering shit down, dude. Like you already been level changing. You're gonna sit down on them again. Mmm. And hold on. And even though it has nothing to do with this clip, watch this feint. Look at the defensive reaction. So let's just say in a hypothetical situation, your sparring partner was pressuring you here and you wanted to get some time to breathe. This is controlling the clock. This is buying time. With this feint right here, look at that defensive reaction. That small window that you got from your opponent because you forced him in a defensive position, you could use that to disengage. Okay, I'm gonna feint you. Okay, now I'm gonna get outside of the 50-50, and I'm just gonna move lateral. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna disengage. I'm gonna control the clock, right? And we're gonna strike when I want to strike, not when you want to strike. When I want to strike. Remember what I said about Sean Woodson. Go back in the video if you have to. Controlling your opponent's positioning with a simple feint here. But that's not what really happened in this video. But just wanted to layer that in. But level change feint, cross to the body again. You got him reaching. Man, you got him reaching. You have him reaching, man. Man, what a way to layer your shit. Beautiful. Beautiful. Man, what if you wanted to, I mean, an overhand? I mean, this is just simple shit. I mean, an overhand. I mean, you look at this. Like, this is open. Like, imagine you just level change and come around. Like, come on, man. But beautiful shot selection. Hit him with the rear hook. And this is beautiful right here. This is beautiful right here. Get control with your lead hand. That control allows you to see, think, and decide. So let's think of the control and just to get a better view. Uh, what the fuck? Just to get a better view. Let me see if I can find something that just not. I'm just gonna go back to that Izzy versus Emma Ball clip. Just want to see if I can uh, see if I can find control here. I'm gonna go back to this too, but um, just in case you're confused about what I mean by control allows you to see, think, and decide. I'm trying to find something here that I can kind of just show you. I have a lot of this shit here. Probably just gonna go back to that Izzy clip. Just to show you what I mean. Let's try this. You know what? I know I had something better. Maybe I had something better. So let's think of in this instance. Let's let's look at this lead hand of Tommy Hearns right here. So this is what I mean by control allows you to see, think, and decide. So let's just say, stupid hypothetical situation. There's a fucking rabid dog coming after you, and you have a pole. You have a pole in your hand. You stick that pole out, and it's between you and that animal. That pole is going to allow you to see what's coming because you have something in between you and the animal, right? It's going to allow you, it's going to give you some time to think because you have something in between you and the animal. And then it's going to give you time to decide to do something because you have something between you and the animal. Get what I'm saying? So Tommy Hearns, with 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 these controls, he's able to see here. He's able to see. Okay, step back, control with his rear hand. Not just control with his rear hand, but Ray Leonard tries to strike. Okay, no, no, sir. I'm gonna control that. I'm gonna control you with my lead hand again. I'm gonna control you with my rear hand, your lead hand, my lead hand again. Excuse me. Boom, boom. Like, come on. That's beautiful. Control. Off of the controls, I'm gonna be offensive. Because I had the controls, I was able to see an opening. Remember what I said? See. I was able to see, think that thought that came in my head was that now I can punch you, and then I'm gonna decide to smack you in the face, throw a liver shot, and I'm gonna get control again, sneak the six up there, turn you. Man, listen, controls are beautiful. So that's what I meant, and I'm sorry if I went on a tangent there, but good job. And that control, man, again, 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 again. That control helped you see this. This. You were able to see this because of that control. You were probably able to feel it because you had your hand on his arm. You were probably able to feel his muscles straining like he was about to throw something. And again, think about the pole between you and the dog. You're able to see because you got something in front of your opponent, of you and your opponent. You got something in between you and your opponent. It's not just empty air. And again, when I talk about controlling the air, right now nobody's controlling the air. This empty space between you and your opponent is fucking vital. It's vital. It's one of the most important things about combat sports. This empty space right here is fucking vital. Control the air. Control the air. It allows you to see. You get under this hook. But not only do you get under the hook, you reposition. I don't know if this is to your right or to your left. I'll say to your right. You reposition to your right with control. With control. With control. With control. Look at that lead hand. Now, what happens if that lead hand is not there? I suspect you would get popped right in your mouth. But you're being defensively responsible. Beautiful shit, man. Repositioning with control. Sure, you got out of the way here. You got out of the way here. You got out of the way here. But that's not the end of the story. Because you are still in the 50-50, really because of the environment that you guys are sparring in. There's not much room, so you're stuck in the 50-50 right now. But if you're going to reposition with not much space between you and your opponent, what does that mean? If there's not much space between you and your opponent, that means your opponent can still hit you, right? So again, we talk about controls. You want defensive traffic in front of you and your opponent. What the fuck is this on me? Oh, something crawling. Alright, whatever. Anyways, back to this. Controls. Repositioning with controls. And so I'm going to show you something else here. So, let's just look at it. Let's just look at what we can find here because I have some things. So let's see. Repositioning with control. Let's see what I see here. What did I click this for? Right there. Beautiful. Repositioning with control. Man, if he didn't have that control, he gets popped in the mouth. But he's repositioning with control because he's in the 50-50 with his opponent. There's not much space here. So if I'm going to move to my left or right, I need defensive traffic in front of me and my opponent. I need defensive traffic in this space. I need defensive traffic in this space. I need to be controlling the air. Beautiful shit. Beautiful shit. Beautiful shit. Anyways, now let's see what else I can find here. Repositioning with control. Let's see what happens here. Beautiful shit. Very subtle but very beautiful. Faint. Man. And this is what I remember what I said earlier. Remember what I said earlier. That level change feint you did in the beginning. Let's go back to it. That level change feint that you did in the beginning. Remember what I said. Feint, and you got that defensive reaction. You can use that defensive reaction in order to reposition yourself or to buy time if your opponent is pressuring, right? If your opponent is pressuring, right? So here, his opponent's on the front foot. I'm going to feint you. I'm going to cause a defensive reaction that this time that I bought, this time that I'm able to get from you being in a defensive posture where you're not striking, I'm gonna use that time to reposition myself to my right. But I'm not just gonna reposition myself, I'm gonna reposition with control, right? And by God, like this is an entire momentum change here. Look where he was before all of this happened. Now he's back into the center a bit. He's got his opponent just walking forward. He's able to catch. Man, he bought himself all types of time there. Think about the implications of that. We're not talking about striking here. We're not talking about a lead hook or a body kick or a spinning back kick. No, we're talking about positioning here. I'm going to feint you, cause a defensive reaction. I'm going to use that time I bought to reposition with control. Now you're all the way over here. I'm back in the center where I feel more comfortable, right? I'm able to see. I'm able to catch your shit. try for a trip. Okay, it doesn't work, but listen, I bought myself some time, man. Anyways, repositioning with control. Go for one more here. One more. All right, so like I said, you can use feints to buy time. So here, look at the look at look at where the momentum. Who has the momentum right here? We see Arnold Allen advancing forward, and we see Evloval, whatever his name is, on the back foot, right? He's gonna control Arnold with two feints to his left. Think about this. Think about the implications. The Evloval is not just moving to his left, he's moving with control, controlling Arnold's positioning view, right? So now he can move safely to his left instead of just now really Evloval, he could have disengaged all the way back here. But I guess that would have put him closer to the fence or whatever. But regardless, feint to my left, defensive reaction from him, right? Look at the momentum shift. Look at the man. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. You gotta be understanding what I'm saying here. Look at the momentum shift. The momentum changed off of defense. You hear DC and all these other people, oh, he got the fucking takedown. But how did he get there? How did he get there? How did he get there? I'm gonna feint you to my left with control. And I'm gonna just take momentum back. Feint, feint, feint. Man, just this is beautiful. Fuck a spinning back kick or whatever. Like this is I love this. This is positioning. 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 Feint, force a defensive reaction. Another feint to get you on the back foot. Another feint, forcing him to rhythm step, all types of shit. And look at the momentum change. Look at the momentum change. He was just on his back foot. Evloval didn't have to throw one strike to get momentum back. Not one strike was thrown to get momentum back in, man. So, man, regardless, back to what we were talking about here. So, yeah, good job repositioning with control, man. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. See what happens here. Oh, who are you, fucking Canelo? The fuck? Slip? Slip? Man. And and so remember what I was saying before, right? There's a difference between this, what we just watched, and how do I go back? It's the difference between what we just watched and this. There's a big difference between what's going on here. Yeah, you landed the head kick, but it's a big difference on what's going on here. Look at all this. I mean, You landed it beautiful, but it's a big difference than what is shown here. Slip, slip, and guess what? Out of the store. Disengage. Running him into shit. Beautiful job. Now that the shot selection isn't bad, it's just the environment. You don't have much room to kind of get back, so I get it. But what I'm just focusing on here is just you just repositioning yourself, forcing your opponent to reposition by you repositioning. And guess what? Beautiful. This is damn near a disengagement trap, meaning you're going to disengage and use your opponent's forward momentum against them. As they are still moving forward, you're going to stop and strike. So let's just see that again. Okay, slip, slip. He's going to still be moving forward. He's thinking you're still moving, but you're going to stop and plant your feet. Boom. Good shit there, man. Great job. Great job, great job, great job. Good shit, good shit, good shit. That was number 3. Number 4. Okay, see. See what I see here. Jab. Beautiful shot selection. Good job on the controls. Good job on the controls. Okay, you were a little late on the controls there. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Is this does this look familiar to you? Does this look familiar? As you're still switching and you're out of position, your opponent is still striking. He can't. I don't know what the fuck he came up short there. So, but as you're still switching, boom. So film doesn't lie. So again, you did get the controls out, but they were a bit late. But he just came up short here. Like he could have hit you if you just you know knew how to punch a little bit. But you got the controls out there. Snuck one in a bit. 3 to the body. Good job repositioning. Jab to the body. Three, 4, 5. Jesus Christ. That was nice, dude. Like, I'm just sorry if I'm not talking much. I'm kind of just mesmerized by the combination. 3, 4, and then you kind of just lean over here. You're exposed here. He does counter you a bit. I can tell you watched a lot of Connor. But this is a beautiful combination. Boom, boom, boom. That was beautiful. And good job switching with control there. Switching with control as you're falling into that stance. Man, you just controlled his lead hand there. You just controlled his lead hand there. And you snuck your jab in too. Good shit, man. Last one here. Talk about jab defense. Talk about jab defense. catching his shit. Oh my god. Jab defense is important, man. Like, you slow your opponent down with that. Man, your shit. I'm gonna nitpick here. No, you're not holding the phone with this jab, but that I'm just nitpicking. But you wanna hold the phone here. A good job catching his shit. You got a good control game. It's a decent control game. My only like criticism would be like you should be more. Um, you should be faster with your controls. Meaning that like there are some moments that I pointed out already where like you did switch with control and time, but the thought is still there. It's just it comes a little late sometimes here. And I know this is old, so but still good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit. Just catching this shit, man. Defense before offense. Defense catching the shit, offense landing your own shit. And then you control it afterwards, man. Snuck your jab in, double change. And like I said, man, he did. Some of that got through. A lot of it got through actually, but still, good effort here with the controls. Look at the level change feint here. Like I said, you done layered your offense and layered your feints already, so this is just gonna get a big reaction from him. Level change, jab, misdirection, 1-2. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Poetry in motion, man. Level change, feint. Look at the reaction you got from him, man. Man, you need to get in the fucking gym, dude. Look at this shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Three level change. And even though his shots got through, that control kind of stifled a lot of the impact of the shots and stuff. Controlled his. Oh my god. Sorry, I just keep watching this. Wow. Level change, misdirection, 1-2, 1, 1-2, 1. Then you got the controls afterwards. Because of that control, you're able to see an opening, think about throwing that head kick, and then you decide to do it. See, think, and decide. So, overall, that was fun to watch. Hopefully, this wasn't like too fucking long. I can't even see how long I've been recording here. Oh, it's been an hour already, so. But, yeah, that was, um, that was good to watch. And granted, like a lot of that, I feel like a lot of the mistakes happen because of the environment you were fighting in. So, and also, um, there's one thing I can touch on here. There's one thing I can touch on here. So, in a situation like this, uh, after this head kick, jab to the body, I would tell you to smother him because that would stifle this momentum that he has right now, and it would just stifle the offense a lot. So let's. I'm gonna end this soon because I know this is fucking long. But I just want to go back here. So uh, right here, somewhere right here. So when you're kind of shelling up in this guard here, oops, go back a bit. Yeah, when you're kind of shelling up in this guard here, like I would tell you, I would be like screaming to either get over to your left here or right, whatever. Like I mentioned before, I would tell you to smother him, and this is what I mean by like smother. So, um, so this is just what I mean by smothering him. You know, get under, right? So you can see, dude was about to let off some combinations there. Had a 1-2, 1-2. You know, he wanted to follow up with something else, but he tied him up, right? That stifled all that momentum, all that offense, and that's debilitating if your opponent is clinching like this with you. And then now you're able to get your shit off. You're able to turn them with controls, right? Look at the momentum change, man. Watch this momentum change. Now who's the one getting the offense off, right? Now for so he had the momentum here. He was getting his stuff off. Not only that, but Barry Robinson like calls this horn. He calls this right here. He likes to call this horns position. Even though you can say it's a high guard for his linguistics, he likes to call this horns position because your opponent has to get past the air, like we talked about, this empty space. He has to get past your glove. He has to get past your glove, right? He has to get past. He has to get past your glove, the air glove, to get to your face, right? So being in top heavy defense when you're in an active high guard, not just a docile high guard where you're just shelling up. This is an active high guard, right? Where you're able to see, right? And really, uh, you know, be able to see, think, and decide. So getting in under and clinching and stuff like that. Momentum changes. But anyways, yeah. Um, good shit, dude. Good shit, dude. I'll probably do these more often now. Because I know you said you wanted to, for me to do like some film studies and shit like that. And I'm probably going to do some next too. I might as well just do these a lot, right? But yeah, good shit.